The biggest liquidation we've ever seen in the market. You can see that nearly $20 billion were liquidated within 24 hours. What happened here last night is insane. I was still looking at the chart at night and it was really crazy what went down. We absolutely have to talk about this. It's incredibly important what's happening here. Above all, this also partly changes my view of a few exchanges because last night we saw something again that is just not acceptable. And I want to talk to you about it now. Because, Trump has announced that there will be 100% tariffs on China starting from the 1st November. And accordingly, he created a bit of uncertainty with that. And honestly, guys, this is the oldest game in the world. Who still falls for that? By now, everyone knows that this is all just talk. In the end, nothing much really happens anyway. And accordingly, you have to say, yes, the big players took advantage of it to push us down. And I would say up to $15,000 for Bitcoin, everything was still okay. So somewhere in that range. Everything really was still fine then. You could say, well, we got liquidated pretty thoroughly there. We also hit a few targets on the heat map. But everything that happened after that was pure manipulation. And that's just not acceptable anymore. On some exchanges, we even dropped to $100,000 per Bitcoin at times. How insane is that, seriously? You have to admit, yeah, the first letter from 500 also corrected by 3%, but 3% is totally fine. Compared to what happened here, a 10% drop in a huge asset like Bitcoin in a single day is just crazy. And like I said, up to 115,000, 110,000, everything was fine. But everything that happened after that was purely manipulated. And unfortunately nowadays you can see that clearly on the blockchain. You can see very clearly that Binance deliberately dumped millions of dollars, especially in altcoins and meme coins. So they really crashed the market here. Unbelievable. And that is just completely manipulated. We've really seen some price targets here last night. Unbelievable. In some cases, really way too cheap. And I think everyone is annoyed today that they didn't jump in on some of these coins. For example, I also bought some more Tau last night. Let's move over to Binance. We had projects like Cosmos where we dropped from $4 to 0.001 cents, which shouldn't even be possible. Binance was completely down, maybe even on purpose, I don't know. But for us, it was constant. The projects plummeted to rock bottom, and with both of them, things crashed even harder. Here we can see, for example, you could have made $101,000, crazy. Everything just fell to the lowest low. Even a project like Cardano dropped to just 27 cents last night, and as I said, you can clearly see that Binance, or the market makers at Binance, played a really dirty game here and deliberately liquidated an extreme amount of money. That's something I really don't like, and I'm increasingly distancing myself from Binance. There were also other exchanges that had problems like Coinbase, Kraken, and I heard KuCoin also had some issues. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there, but in any case, several exchanges had problems. But there was one exchange that had no problems, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Because lately, I've been using trading bots, and you should definitely check them out too. You can see them here in my description, that's where you'll find them. I've even created trading bots for you, like an Ethereum trading bot, a Bitcoin trading bot, where you can expect returns of around 250% per year. These are trading bots that trade within certain ranges, and sometimes they work really well, especially during these bad market phases. That's the huge advantage. When things get as volatile as they are now, the bots might go a little into the red in the short term, but they'll come out stronger because they'll buy at the bottom and sell at the top again. The bots simply trade better than we do. And I've put together some bots for you here, basically the best ones I could find. I've linked everything for you here. Feel free to check it out. The bots at Pionex are insanely good. You can only register the bots through my link. So sign up here using my link and then pick the bots you're interested in. Subscribe to them and try them out yourself. I've had very good experiences with the bots from Pionex so far, and that's why I've put together what I think are the best bots for you. Definitely check them out. Above all, they had no issues yesterday and came out of that situation much better than any trader or anyone who tried to buy in with bots. But in the next few days, I'll make a separate video about the bots for those who don't yet know how this works. Otherwise, in terms of chart analysis, what more can I really tell you? We had a huge problem here, but fortunately we didn't really fall sustainably below this last low. From a chart perspective, it's actually really bad that we fell below here, but since it wasn't sustainable, I still think we're kind of in an uptrend, forming higher lows, and that we can continue to rise from here. I think that was kind of a final flash crash, and what you really have to say is, this crash is a bull run crash. Trust me guys, this is a bull run crash, that in a single candle, so much gets pushed down. These kinds of shakeouts usually only happen during a bull run. I mean, how long has it been since we had shakeouts like this, where we had a candle like this on the daily chart? The last time we had something like this was here in the 2021 cycle. Sometimes the candles back then weren't even this strong, But these V-shaped moves, dropping quickly and bouncing right back up, those are bull run moves. And in the end, that makes me extremely optimistic. Because we had something like that here too, you know? It dropped over 1 or 2 days. Maybe a little bit more, but then, boom, it shot right back up. So I think you really shouldn't panic too much here. In the long run, yesterday was just a shakeout, and in the coming weeks, things can keep moving forward. That's how I see the whole situation, at least in the short term. Maybe it'll go a bit lower or something. It's possible. A lot of people are panicking right now, yeah. But in the next few weeks, let's say in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we'll already be much higher again. Probably not even 3 to 4 weeks, probably already in the next 1 to 2 weeks. In my opinion, we'll already be much higher by then. We'll probably have fully recovered and everything will be running smoothly again. In the end, it was just panic that was created. The big players took advantage of it to the extreme. Binance tried to liquidate everything here. Many weak traders were thrown out of the market. And that just paves the way for the next upward trend. It's the same game as always. So don't get worked up about it. We've seen this 1,000 times before. It's no problem at all. Let it be the same this time. We'll grow out of it. Because in the end, the market has been cleaned up. From now on, we can start rising again. That's how it is, it's nothing else, and honestly, what could really happen with the tariffs? There won't be any 100% tariffs again, that's just talk, starting from the 1st. In November, everything will just be dragged out again, and from the 1st. In November, when it's already clear that things are being dragged out, we'll probably already be heading towards $130,000. That's the problem here, and that's what you need to understand. That's all I want to tell you with this video today. Take advantage of these market phases. I took advantage of them and bought a few more altcoins. Of course, it would have been best to buy in last night. Or if you had limit orders, because that's also really powerful. If you had limit orders at $150 for projects like Tau, since we wicked down so far here. On some exchanges, we were actually at $150. You definitely could have accumulated at that point. That would have been really strong, for sure. Limit orders are really never a bad idea, but as I said, my bots help me with that too, because the bots often catch the exact bottom or gradually buy in piece by piece. If the price goes up a bit, they sell again, and that way you can really make some good profits here. At least, that's been my experience. So feel free to check it out. And apart from that, there's really not much more to say. Leave a like and a comment. Tomorrow I'll release an update video on why this bull run is going to be gigantic. And why you should actually be more optimistic in the coming days. Because right now a lot of people are very pessimistic. But we're not going to just accept that.